Welcome, friends. Welcome back to a new video today. So I thought rather than continuing to respond to comments as you make them, which I've been really enjoying, please keep them coming. All the questions and comments have been great. But I thought, why not share the comments and the responses to the comments to everyone so everybody can see what my responses are? And I thought this would be really valuable. So that's what we're going to start today. If you just happened upon this video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. I am really excited to get to that milestone. And I do apologize to any squeaking you're hearing. Clearly my chair needs some, as you can see, it clearly needs some grease on it. I just noticed that as I was starting the recording. All right, the first comment I have is from our education video that we had done a few weeks back. I think it's actually over a month since I released that video. Terrific Life, it responds, is there any way to know if you roll positive? Unfortunately, no, there isn't. This is a hidden attribute that your character will have. They'll have it during their childhood. I did go through and look for some mods, and I couldn't find it after a quick look. I just looked through the first couple pages. So maybe there's a mod out there that will let you know what your current score is for your education score as you're learning it, or maybe that's something that you could easily create if you're good with modding and have something that you can keep track of that education score on each of the children. Ross writes, you can retreat. Yes, you can retreat in this game. And this may seem silly, but I'm not shocked that a lot of people wouldn't know that you can retreat, actually. It's not well known. So what all you do is once you get out of the early battle phase is you click on your army and you move them somewhere else, and that will automatically get them to retreat, and you will skip to the aftermath phase where they will do their pursuit rolls. You will do your you'll do your defense via your screen, and your army's going to try to get out of dodge ASAP. And you'll still have some casualties. Some of those casualties will be fatal casualties, but you'll definitely lose a lot less than if you go all the way through the combat. So if you know you're going to lose, might as well just get out of dodge and try to get away from that army ASAP. Get an organizer on there, or maybe a winter soldier. Yeah, get the winter trait on there. Just get one of the movement traits on there to try to outrun that army. Okay. And I do apologize if I might mispronounce anyone's name on here. I am trying to go to Google, checking out the pronunciation that Google tells me that it is, and going based on that. So I do apologize if I get anything wrong. So June, Unyielding Defender is a good trait if you fight against a peasant revolt. Geez, I always pronounce this wrong. Bangarian War, a faction rebellion, or just several wars at once with limited resources, and so you want to keep your armies. 100%. This is the only comment I had on there. However, I wanted to go through this one. Yes, that is right. You can use Unyielding Defender. You can also use some strategies to pick and choose which armies you fight when. I fought up to, I believe, 4 wars at once and successfully won all of those wars. Usually I know if I'm going to win a war, and I will surrender if I know that it's just hopeless, or I'm like, well, I don't really need to try to fight this out if it's close, and I don't care about this territory if they're going after territory. So it all depends on what the surrender is. Sometimes I'll just surrender because it's easier. For peasant revolts, though, I just raise your men-at-arms and your knights. You're probably going to lose nothing on them, and they can easily smash. You might need some levies to just take take a bit of the damage, but even then, like, usually as long as you have some decent men-at-arms and some decent knights, usually you won't lose much to peasant revolts. They would have to be quite strong to outmatch you. And honestly, if you have peasant revolts that are that strong and your men-at-arms can't take them on, you're probably not maintaining your men-at-arms and up to a reasonable level for your empire size. One thing that I did want to mention though is there's actually a hack that you can do, and this isn't really a hack. This isn't an exploit or anything like this. This is just uh, a little tiny strategy that you can use that is really powerful if you're in multiple wars. So let's say that you cascade and you get a whole bunch of your opponents all of a sudden they want to attack you, right? You're all of a sudden in four because what will happen is that you'll get into a war and then say a peasant revolt will happen and then your neighbor that hates you will say, this is our time. We'll then start another war, then another neighbor will come in, right? And all of a sudden you're in four wars. Now, how you can win those very easily without any commander traits, specific commander traits, is go and pick on a evil religion next to you, some small little county, and declare war on them, right? And then raise all the holy orders, right? Recruit those, and then all of a sudden you have these very strong mercenary type units, armies, and you can quite quickly, depending on the size of your realm and the size of the development of the men at arms, you should be able to easily defeat the armies that you're up against. It all depends on what happens. That's how I survived the four versus one. Is I declared war on a fifth country, small little tiny. I think it was a duchy. I don't think it was a county. I didn't have the option for a county. Ignored them, right? Because that's going to take them forever to get their war or to go through that. Then I started picking on all the other armies with my holy orders and was able to win the war that way. So there's a little strategy that would really help you out if you're in that situation of multiple wars. If you can't do a holy war, doesn't really work. Try not to take over all of your opponents who are evil religions around you. All right. Next up, we have from John. Cautious Defender is good when you have a large amount of event-spawned troops and need to preserve them. This is actually a very good point. When you have some of those starting out special armies that have a ton of levies in there. Sorry, not Cautious Defender, Unyielding Defender. Unyielding Defender would be good in that situation, right? Just preserve, because your levies are easy to kill. Right? And what's annoying about those things, they never go away. The second you get down to one levy, that thing will never die. It's guaranteed that levy will never die unless the entire army is wiped out. And even still, I swear it survives. I'm sure it doesn't, but I just cannot get rid of them. A lot of you that talked about Reaver is awesome. It should be S. Now, looked at my analytics, and I feel that some of you skipped right to the end, looked at the chart, and then went, No, I'm just kidding. They're actually very well thought out arguments, and they weren't, and it seemed like you did have a reason why you want S tier. Now, as I said in the video, my end chart did not meet where I actually would put it. I would put it in B. I don't quite put it in my A tier, but I can see arguments for it. Now, why is it not in my S tier? The problem with putting in an S tier is that I'm never going to go into combat with Reaver. I do not want to get into combat with Reaver, right? It is something that you're going to want to have when you're moving your troops, and I need that S tier to be something that I really find that no matter the situation is going to help me out. Also mentioned, in my experience, Flexible Leader does not cut all of the enemy defense advantages. I haven't experienced this, and I played a lot with Flexible Leader. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but I have never experienced it not cutting down by 50% the advantages that the other army is getting, the defensive advantages, not the offensive advantages, but defensive advantages. If you are noticing something, I would definitely say that this is a bug. If it's not cutting down any defensive advantage based on the text of it, that 100% is a bug. In theory, they could purposely having that bug for balance reasons, but I don't know. It seems like a bug to me. Stevie says you absolutely need at least one forder. There are too many hardpoints adjacent to straights where you have no choice but to attack across it. Okay, so in this one, I usually have one. Forder seems to be, at least in the games I play, seems to be the most common commander trait, right? You just recruit in a whole bunch of people to your court, and then all of a sudden you will have a ton of Forders in there, right? Not even paying attention to them. But as Brandon had mentioned in response to you, strategist is a better trait to get because you have strategist and other commander traits, right? Because strategist is a lifestyle trait. It does not preclude from you having other commander traits there. So if you do want to play with a forder, I would recommend going to the strategist lifestyle trait. That's if it's available, right? If you're able to get there, you're not always able to have what you would like. For me though, even with some of the hard points, I honestly think that having a flexible leader plus some secondary traits on there, generally it cuts everything down more than, because at least in my experience, they'll have other defensive advantages like a barony and stuff like that I need to cut down as well. So it's not a completely useless trait. It's just something that I don't really pay attention to that much or a target, because there are other options that are as good or better and work in more situations. I should also say that's the thing I like about flexible leader, right? Is it works in more situations than the forder trait. The forder specifically with the stream, which honestly, if you're going across just a river, not even a large river, you're not even getting that big of a negative from it. So some of the other defensive advantages that they're getting or might be causing you some headache. And last but definitely not least, Simon says, love the Reaver and Siege Engineer for my raiding armies. As far as I know, the Military Engineer trait, and I'm glad that you called it Siege Engineer, by the way, let me say it thank you for doing that. Confirms. I'm always causing, as I mentioned, I'm always causing it Siege Engineer. So with the Military Engineer, I don't believe it works with raids. I believe that it's not actually a siege that it's doing, so there is no siege. There is no siege phase time. So yeah, I don't think that it's. I think you're kind of wasting a commander trait by going after that Reaver and a military engineer, and you might want to even just target someone that's a better commander, get better commander advantage, just in case in case you're caught there, or organizer, something like a Reaver and organizer. Oh, that would be great, right? A Reaver organizer, or maybe even a Reaver and Logiston would be really good if you could get there. And of course, if you're Northern getting the winter one as well. The Winter Soldier would be good. I hope I'm saying that right. There'll probably be a million if I feel my brain's telling me that I am not getting that trait right, and I'm refusing to look it up, because if it is, you guys are going to comment a lot down in the comments. Feeding the rage. All right, but that's going to be it for today. I hope that you guys found this valuable. This is something that I actually really enjoyed making this video. So yeah, this is going to be something I'm going to be continuing on as I experiment with new content types. And now that that's done, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And if you have any other questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to leave it down in the comments. And I'm going to go off and start the script for the Knight and Minute Arms video that I'm working on. But I will wish everybody a good morning, good day, or good night, wherever you are.